Hi everyone, it's Sarah here. So finally I get to show you how I'm going to put together these grapevine wreaths with the seashells that I've been teasing you about forever. So a, a bagillion years ago, when my husband and I were just dating, his brother and sister-in-law said, "What does Sarah like for Christmas? What does Sarah want for Christmas? What does she like?" And all they remembered was something involving M&Ms and augers. So, and the augers are a family, a Nesbit family thing, and I'll post something about those in the article. I won't go into it right now, and my addiction to M&Ms is pretty well known. So I got a huge jar, like, let's see if I can show you, like this big jar, about a foot tall, of filled with red and green M&Ms, plain. Topped off with a cork stopper, absolutely covered in seashells, most of them augers. And if you look, you can see my little pile of what I have left of my little pile of augers right there. Well, the jar got broken. After I ate the M&Ms, I'd put cotton balls in it. It was sitting in my bathroom forever. And then so I soaked the hot glue off of those seashells with alcohol, spent hours taking seashells off, and there are still a few left on there, cleaned them up really well, and as you saw in one of my Instagram posts and a Facebook post, I had shown a branch of something. Well, it was a fresh grapevine off of our trellis out back. And Peter, my husband, helped me twist those into wreaths, and here are 3 of them right here on the table. And you can see I've laid out the seashells I'm going to do, and I've already gone ahead and wrapped red 1/8 inch red satin ribbon around it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm taking things that I already have, seashells, easy to come by for me, especially, I mean, these are some that Sherry had collected, but I'm going to, but I have, of course, my own stash around here somewhere that we've collected over the course of many beach trips. But I want to give us a splash of color because, as you see, we're dealing with very neutral tones here. We've got there's a few brighter shells, like this one. It's got some pink and burgundy in it. But mostly we're dealing with shades of browns and grays, beige, and a little bit of black even. I've got a black scallop shell right here. And so I wanted a little splash of color on these, so I went ahead and wrapped my vines, 2 of my vines, with 1/8 inch red satin ribbon, and I'm going to take the 1/4 inch ribbon that I had left over from a product I used to make, private label, and I'm going to do a bow on that one. I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do a bow, but I will show you the final product. I found the perfect spot for these in my living room, and they're going to be, but my living room walls are kind of this pale butter yellow. So I wanted to give it a little bit of color to make sure that it would pop. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the glue gun here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the small one. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking a bit of hot glue gun and hoping I don't burn myself on camera, because, you know, that'd be kind of embarrassing. And go ahead and set it up right on my wreath. I'm so excited I finally get to do this, because I swear it took forever for the grapevine wreaths to cure and dry after I made them. And then we had Thanksgiving, and then we had our trip to the flotilla last weekend, so it has been just insane trying to get everything done. I was kind of excited about this. I was also pretty excited about this project because, truthfully, I was really tired of that jar lid being in my bathroom. I had no idea what to do with it, but I certainly didn't want to trash all the shells. And I tripped on this idea just cruising Pinterest. You know how it is. It's not that I'm copying someone's idea. I came up with this myself, but I saw some really pretty grapevine wreaths with seashells. I'm like, I could do that. Well, to give you something to think about besides watching me stare hot glue seashells onto grapevine wreaths, my in-laws used to have a house at Emerald Isle, which is part of the Crystal Coast. My husband and I share a love of the Crystal Coast, and we have since before we met, even. And my mother-in-law absolutely loves augers, and the tradition was if you went to the beach, stayed at the beach house, and found an auger, you got to come back for another trip. So it was a challenge, and we could always find augers, even in the off season. It wasn't that hard to find them. So I guess that my husband wanted to figure out a way for me to make sure, or my boyfriend at the time, wanted to find a way to make sure that I could always go back to the beach. I think these are probably my new favorite. These are some of the prettiest shells on there. There were some sea stars too, but they did not make time. I think the kitten got a hold of those. Whoops. So there is the first one. It's got a lot of glue strings on it. I'll take those off. That she only needs a little bit more. There we go. And our first one is done, I think. I don't know. Seems like it needs a little something there, doesn't it? So we're going to add a little something. I got enough shells over here. I'll do a little cluster of augers. And boom. So there's our first one. And that's going to go on the bottom of our hanging. I'm just going to sit that over here and grab a glue stick while I'm at it, just in case. Now, this was my very first attempt at making a grapevine wreath. So my wreaths are a little bit straggly, but I think it gives them some interest. You can definitely tell this is not something I bought at some big box store. It's both a blessing and a curse that was this heavy strength heart that bought the super duper heavy strength hot glue sticks. Now this shell, I don't know if you can see it or not, that's the pretty side, but that is the fascinating side. So I'm putting the fascinating side to where it can show. This teeny tiny little auger. Use the tiny augers were for the weekend trips. This one does not want to let go of me. It stuck to my finger, and then the glue dried. There we go. This little scallop shell, it's got such a fascinating pattern to it. I wanted to keep it, but it's got a chip in it, so I'm hiding that with this bigger, with this spiral. You have the big augers. Those are for the week-long trips to the house. I don't get to them. It's probably one of my favorite beaches. I just don't get there anymore. The house was sold in 2005 and replaced. It was a nice little house. It was small, but would sleep 10 without having to push people into sleeping bags into the living room. And then we would and that's that one. I'm going to let that dry. Okay, now I'm on the last one. Ignore any noise in the background because the oldest and her dad just popped in and they cannot do anything quietly. This one you see I had everything laid out, and so this is the prettiest one of all the grapevine wreaths that we made. And this is going to get the bow. And this will be the top of my trio. the width of this one is making it go really quickly. It's giving the shells a lot more to cling to. This auger has a barnacle on it. I could chip it off, but why? It's natural and it adds interest. Okay, and there is our third one. It's going to hang like this, with this beautiful scallop at the top. And I'm going to offset the bow. That's just straight up and down bows bore me, so I like to offset it for interest. And then, if you can imagine, big red bow with a red ribbon uniting it. I think it's going to be really pretty. Of course, I'm going to post pics when I'm done, and I'll post pics of how it looks on my wall too.